Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It always helps. Thank you. It always helps, and I appreciate it very much. So, we've got an awesome morning together this morning. And thank you for coming so much. We have over 5,200 attendees here today. We sold out within 2 hours. I'm sorry, this is the biggest place we can get to have this, so I'm sorry for all those people that couldn't make it. And we wish we could sell more tickets, but we don't know where to have it if we do. So 5,200 attendees, over 120 sessions, over 100 hands-on labs where you can take your code in and get help tuning it and porting it to some of our newer devices. And there are over 100 Apple engineers here this week, 1,000, sorry, Apple engineers here this week to help you. So there's a lot of Apple folks floating around. Grab them, make use of them, and we hope you have a great week here at WWDC. Now, we're going to talk about three things today. You know, if the hardware is the brain and the sinew of our products, the software in them is their soul. And today we are going to talk about software. We've got some great stuff to talk about. OS X Lion, iOS 5, and some kind of interesting new cloud stuff. So, you like everything so far? Good. Well, I'll try not to blow it. So, I get to talk about iCloud. We've been working on this for some time now, and we're really excited about it. About 10 years ago, we had one of our most important insights, and that was that the PC was going to become the digital hub for your digital life. What did that mean? Well, it meant that that's where you were going to put your digital photos. Where else were you going to put them? Your digital video off your digital camcorder. And, of course, your music. Right? You were going to acquire it in the device or potentially on your Mac, and you were going to basically sync it to the Mac, and everything was going to work fine. And it did for the better part of 10 years. But it's broken down in the last few years. Why? Well, because the devices have changed. They now all have music. They now all have photos. They now all have video. And so if I acquire a song, I buy it right on my iPhone, I want to get that to my other devices. Right? I pick up my iPad and it doesn't have that song on it. So I have to sync my iPhone to my Mac. Then I have to sync my other devices to the Mac to get that song. But then they've deposited some photos on the Mac, so I have to sync the iPhone again with the Mac to get those photos. And keeping these devices in sync is driving us crazy. So, we've got a great solution for this problem. And we think this solution is our next big insight, which is we're going to demote the PC and the Mac to just be a device, just like an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod Touch. And we're going to move the digital hub, the center of your digital life, into the cloud. Because all these new devices have communications built into them. They can all talk to the cloud whenever they want. And so now, if I get something on my iPhone, it's sent up to the cloud immediately. Let's say I take some pictures with it. Those pictures are in the cloud, And they are now pushed down to my devices completely automatically. And now everything's in sync with me not even having to think about it. I don't even have to take the devices out of my pocket. I don't have to be near my Mac or PC. Now, some people think the cloud is just a hard disk in the sky, right? And you take a bunch of stuff and you put it in your Dropbox or your iDisk or whatever, and it transfers it up to the cloud and stores it, and then you drag whatever you want back out on your other devices. We think it's way more than that, and we call it iCloud. Now, iCloud stores your content in the cloud and wirelessly pushes it to all your devices. So it automatically uploads it, stores it, and automatically pushes it to all your other devices. But also, it's completely integrated with your apps. And so everything happens automatically, and there's nothing new to learn. It just all works. It just works. Now, you might ask, why should I believe them? They're the ones that brought me Mobile Me. It wasn't our finest hour. Let me just say that. But we learned a lot. Now, the three core apps in Mobile Me were Contacts, Calendar, and Mail. Three things we'd obviously like kept up to date. We've thrown them away. We've re-architected and rewritten them from the ground up to be iCloud apps. And we've put them on all of our devices. So, as an example, in Contacts, when I make a new contact on my iPhone, it's automatically brought up to the cloud where it's stored on the cloud, right? The truth is on the cloud. And then it's automatically pushed down to my other devices so they're all in sync. It's that easy. I just update a contact on my iPhone and don't even think about it, and that contact is updated on all my other devices. And if I change it on any device, it's updated on all devices wirelessly, automatically, without me doing a thing. So that's Contacts. Here's Calendars. Works much the same way. I make a new calendar event on my iPhone. It's stored in the cloud, and it's pushed to my other devices. Pretty cool. We've also added calendar sharing. So as an example, if I'm sharing a few calendars with my wife, school and soccer calendars, let's say, right? And I add a new calendar for a teacher-parent conference on my phone. It's, again, automatically pushed up to the cloud and automatically pushed to my wife's iPhone. If she adds an appointment for a soccer game, again, goes up to the cloud and back to my iPhone. It's that simple. And so Calendars it stores your calendars in the cloud, changes on any device are pushed to all your devices, and we have shared calendars. And we think you're going to love the new calendars. It just works. And then we have Mail. Mail was in the best shape of all, but it's even better now. We give you a mail account at me.com. Your new messages, again, are pushed to all your devices, and like we're used to, your inbox and folders are all kept up to date on all devices. So that's Mail. And no ads. We build products that we want for ourselves too, and we just don't want ads. So we can't get there. So these are the three apps that form the core of Mobile Me. We used to sell them for a subscription price of $99 annually. As of today, this product ceases to exist, and those three apps are now going to be free. But we didn't stop there. We've got 3 more apps that we've brought into the iCloud universe. The first is, of course, the App Store. The App Store, you've bought a lot of apps so far, and you can buy them, of course, directly on your devices. Maybe the app you want isn't on the device you've got with you. So for all your purchase history now, you can see it on all your devices, even if the app's not there. And we've added this button here, which is download from the cloud. And if you want that app on that device, you just push that button, and that app is automatically sent to that device, right? And there's no extra charge. No extra charge. Now, we've done that for your purchase history. What about for devices you buy in the future? Well, for devices when you buy them in the future, you want to buy Yelp, let's say. The cloud downloads it to all your devices, again, at no extra charge, all automatically. So that's what we're doing with the App Store. iBooks, same thing. You've got your purchase history of all the books you've bought on any device. You want to get it on your iPhone, say. Just push the button. It downloads to that device. When you buy a new iBook, let's say you want to buy this book here, The Wave. It downloads it to all your devices now. And if you're reading it on one device, let's say you're reading it on your iPad, and you've just got to run. You get to a page, you bookmark that page, that bookmark is sent up to the cloud and stored, and again, pushed to all your other devices, so maybe you can read the rest of that chapter as an example on the train to work. It all just works. And now backup. We talked about being PC-free. Scott talked about how you can wirelessly back up your devices daily to your PC or your Mac, but let's do it to the cloud as well for those people that want to be completely PC-free. So we've added wireless backup to the cloud, and basically, once daily, we're going to back up a lot of your important contents to the cloud. If you ever get a new phone and have to replace a phone, you literally type in your Apple ID and password, and everything will be loaded onto that phone automatically and wirelessly. So we automatically do daily backups to iCloud over Wi-Fi. We back up your purchased music, apps, and books. We back up your camera roll with your photos and videos. We back up your device settings. And we back up your app data. All to the cloud. So that is backup. And those are 3 other apps that come with iCloud. But we couldn't stop there. And so we have a final 3 apps that are amazing. The most inventive part of iCloud, I think. And I'd love to tell you about them. The first one is documents in the cloud. So if I'm on my iPad and I create a Pages document, right? I create a Pages document, and it automatically uploads it and stores it in the cloud when I close that document, completely automatically. And it then pushes it to all the devices that I have Pages on. So I can get the document between my devices. And we have put that into Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. As a matter of fact, the versions we just released last week have this in there. And documents in the cloud really completes our iOS document storage story, too. In other words, a lot of us have been working for 10 years to get rid of the file system, so the user didn't have to worry about it. When you try to teach somebody how to use a Mac, the easiest of all computers to use, everything's going along fine until you hit the file system, and then the difficulty is staggering for most people. So we've made it on the iOS devices to where you don't ever have to think about it. The app manages the presentation of its own documents, just like Mail manages the presentation of its own messages. But the piece that we weren't finished with was how do we move those documents around to different devices? And Documents in the Cloud solves that problem for us. Apps can store documents in iCloud. iCloud pushes those documents to a user's devices automatically. The documents update on all devices when changed on any device. And we are releasing APIs to all of you. So it's really easy to tie your apps into iCloud's storage system. And again, you can have complex documents, apps like Pages, or we've got another storage facility for key value data. So as an example, if you've got an app that just tracks stocks, you can just update the key value pairs, and we'll store that in the cloud as well. So documents and key value data works across all iOS devices and Macs and PCs too. So we think this is going to be pretty big, and that is documents in the cloud. This next one is maybe my favorite one, and it's called PhotoStream. And it's going to bring the cloud to photos. How many times have we taken photos on our iPhone, maybe of our kids in the afternoon, and wanted, when we got home, to share them on an iPad and have to go through the process of moving them over? Wouldn't it be great if by the time I got home they were already there on the iPad? Well, that's what PhotoStream is going to do for us across all of our devices. So again, I take photos on any device, puts it in the camera roll, and that will be automatically uploaded to the cloud where it's stored and automatically downloaded to all my other devices, including, in this case, a Mac. And so I've got my photos on my iPad just waiting for me when I get home. Now, in addition, I can import photos. Right into iPhoto as an example on the Mac. It'll upload those to the cloud and do exactly the same thing with them by pushing them down to all my other devices. So it's it's photos that I take or photos that I import. And we've built this right into the apps. I hope you've seen that as we've gone through this. We've built this right into the app, so there's nothing new to learn. So PhotoStream on the iPad's photo app, we've built it right in, right next to albums. We have a button called PhotoStream. You push it, and you're looking at the PhotoStream. It's that simple. There's not a separate app that you have to go learn. It's right there in your Photos app. It's right there in your Photos app on your iPhone. It's just right there with all your other albums. There you go, PhotoStream. On the Mac, we built it right into iPhoto, and so it's right there on the side, your PhotoStream. And on a PC, they don't have a Photos app, so we use the Pictures folder, right? In addition to that, we've even built it in to Apple TV. So Apple TV talks directly over the internet, directly to the PhotoStream servers. Doesn't even go through your PC. Talks directly to the PhotoStream servers, so you can watch the photos right on your Apple TV. So, one of the problems we faced was that photos are large and will use up all the memory on your devices. They're also large, they'll consume vast amounts of storage in our server farms. So we've come up with a great scheme. We're going to store photos on your devices. We're going to store the last 1,000 photos, right? We'll store the last 1,000. And any photos you want to keep permanently, just move them into an album and they'll stay forever. But they'll be parading by you the last 1,000 photographs. On your Mac or PC, because we have more storage, we'll store all of them. You can get rid of them by just deleting them, but we'll store all of them. And on the server, we'll store them for 30 days, which is more than enough time for all your devices to connect and automatically download those photos. So we think we've got a great system here that's going to move our photos around among all of our devices, even Apple TV, so that when I take a photo anywhere, I can view it on all my other devices. We think this is going to be really exciting. So, photos you take or import, upload to iCloud. iCloud pushes them to all your devices, works over Wi-Fi. iCloud stores each photo for 30 days, which is plenty enough time for all the devices to be connected. Devices store the last 1,000 photos, and again, you can just drag them to an album, they stay forever. And Macs and PCs store all photos. So, we're really, really pleased with PhotoStream. We think you're going to like it a lot. Last, but not least, is iTunes in the cloud. You know, it's the same old story, right? About I buy something on my iPhone, right? Well, and it's not on my other devices. I grab my iPod and I go to listen to that song I bought yesterday on my iPhone. It ain't there. Well, the first thing we've done, again, is for the songs you've already bought, we've added a purchase button that shows you your entire purchase history of all the iTunes songs you bought on any device. You can look at it by all songs or recent songs, or you can look at it by artist. So I'm going to pick Bob Dylan here, and I could download any of these albums that I've bought on iTunes to this device just by pushing that cloud download button. Or I could go in to one of them and just download whatever songs I want to this device. So anything I've bought, I can now download to any of my devices at no additional charge, which is great. This is the first time we've seen this in the music industry. No charge for multiple downloads to different devices. And for the future, I flick one switch to on, and now any song I buy on any device, again, will automatically be downloaded to all my devices. So, music purchased from iTunes, high quality, 256 kilobits AAC, and you can have up to 10 devices downloading your music to all of them every time you buy it on any device. iTunes in the cloud. So these 9 apps constitute iCloud, and they are all free. We want every user to take advantage of these, and we know if we make them free that they will. And we want people to see what these devices can really do and what the software can really do. So we're making it free, and we're very excited about it. So that's iCloud. It stores your content and wirelessly pushes it to all your devices, and it's integrated with your apps, so everything happens automatically. So a competitor that doesn't own the apps or doesn't have great developers to integrate with their apps, they can never do this. They can never make it so it just works. And that's what we've done here. So how do you get it? Well, when you upgrade your phone or buy a new phone with iOS 5 on it, all you have to do is type in your Apple ID and password, and that's it. And you'll get a switch that's iCloud. You can turn it off if you'd like. It'll be turned on by default, and you're up and running. We're also going to give everybody 5 gigabytes of free storage for mail, documents, and backup. And that's even more than it sounds like, because we're not counting purchased music, apps, or books towards that 5 gigabytes. Nor are we counting PhotoStream towards that 5 gigabytes. So, when can you get your hands on this? Today. Developer beta today. We're going to get you all a developer beta today. And also today, we're going to make something available to end users, which is the iTunes in the cloud portion. And it runs on iOS 4.3. It'll run on all the supported platforms when we ship it this fall. But today, we're going to put it out for 4.3 as a beta, and everyone can get their hands on it and run it on their existing iPhone 4s. So we think this is going to be really exciting. And of course, we ship iCloud concurrent with shipping iOS 5 this fall. So that is iCloud. Now there's one more thing. No, small thing. A small thing. It pertains to iTunes in the cloud. As you recall, iTunes in the cloud is just for the music that you've purchased from the iTunes store. Now at 14 billion songs, 15 billion, excuse me, that's a lot of songs out there that have been purchased from iTunes Music Store. But you may have some that you ripped yourself. And there's 3 ways you can deal with that. One, you can sync your new devices over Wi-Fi or cable, and you only have to sync them once just to get that music on them, and then you can rely on iCloud to take care of getting all your new purchases off iTunes onto that device. Or, if it's just a few songs you love that you don't want to leave behind, you can buy those songs that you'll miss on iTunes. We're going to offer a 3rd way, which is called iTunes Match. What is iTunes Match? Well, iTunes Match uses the fact that we've got 18 million songs now in the iTunes Music Store. And the chances are awfully good that we've got the songs in our store that you've ripped. And so we wrote software to scan those CDs, the ripped CD, the non-iTunes music, and match it up with those songs we have in the store. Right? And so we can give that music the same benefits as music purchased from iTunes, and it takes just minutes, not weeks. If you have to upload your whole library into some locker in the sky, that literally takes weeks. This takes minutes because we're scanning and matching your library, so we don't need to upload that large part of your library. And the few songs that remain, well, we'll upload them. But with 18 million songs, we're most likely to have what you've got. In addition, iTunes Match will upgrade those songs that match to 256 kilobits AAC. And iTunes Match costs just $24.99 a year. So if you've got a bunch of music, that you didn't buy from iTunes, you can get all the benefits of the cloud service and more in terms of upgrading your music for $24.99 a year. Now, if you look and compare that to some competitors, let's just look at Apple and Amazon and Google. You kind of get surprised because Again, the library in the cloud, we scan and match. The other guys, you got to upload your whole music library. Again, it's going to take weeks. Music apps on your Mac and PC, well, you're stuck with a web app instead of iTunes. Upgrade to 256 kilobits per second. The other guys aren't upgrading you at all. The annual price for 5,000 songs, we're $24.99. Amazon charges you $50 for the storage, and Google hasn't announced their pricing yet. Even at 20,000 songs, we charge one flat price. Amazon's up to $200 for the storage, and Google hasn't announced their pricing yet. So, most of our customers won't need this because they bought a lot of their music on iTunes, but for those that do, it's an industry-leading offering, let's put it that way. So that's iTunes Match, and it goes along with free iTunes in the cloud, and that's what it is. Now, if you don't think we're serious about this, you're wrong. This is our third data center that we just completed. It's in Maiden, North Carolina. This is what it looks like. It's rather large. It's as eco-friendly as you can make a data center with modern technology, and we're pretty proud of it. Just to give you a feel for its size, see those two little dots on the roof? Those are two people right there. So it's a pretty large place, and it's full of stuff, full of expensive stuff. And we are ready, we think, for our customers to start using iCloud, and we can't wait to get it in their hands. So iCloud is the third thing we want to talk about today. I hope you like all of the three things that we've unveiled this morning. And again, we've got a great week planned for you with 5,200 attendees, over 120 sessions, over 100 hands-on labs, and over 1,000 Apple engineers here all week. So please ask us for any help you need. That's why we're here. So go at it, have a great week, and thank you very much for coming this morning. Well, it meant that that's where you were going to put your digital photos. Where else were you going to put them? Your digital video off your digital camcorder. And of course, your music, right? You were going to acquire it in the device or potentially on your Mac, and you were going to basically sync it to the Mac, and everything was going to work fine. And it did for the better part of 10 years. But it's broken down in the last few years. Why? Well, because the devices have changed. They now all have music. They now all have photos. They now all have video. And so if I acquire a song, I buy it right on my iPhone, I want to get that to my other devices. Right? I pick up my iPad and it doesn't have that song on it. So I have to sync my iPhone to my Mac. Where is the brain and the sinew of our products? The software in them is their soul. And today we are going to talk about software. We've got some great stuff to talk about. OS X Lion, iOS 5, and some kind of interesting new cloud stuff. So, you like everything so far? Good. Well, I'll try not to blow it. So, I get to talk about iCloud. We've been working on this for some time now, and we're really excited about it. About 10 years ago, we had one of our most important insights, and that was that the PC was going to become the digital hub for your digital life. What did that mean? We have over 5,200 attendees here today. We sold out within 2 hours. I'm sorry, this is the biggest place we can get to have this, so I'm sorry for all those people who couldn't make it. And we wish we could sell more tickets, but we don't know where to have it if we do. So 5,200 attendees, over 120 sessions, over 100 hands-on labs where you can take your code in and get help tuning it and porting it to some of our newer devices. And there are over 100 Apple engineers here this week, 1,000, sorry, Apple engineers here this week to help you. So there's a lot of Apple folks floating around. Grab them, make use of them, and we hope you have a great week here at WWDC. Now, we're going to talk about 3 things today. You know, if the hard... Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It always helps. Thank you. It always helps, and I appreciate it very much. So, we've got an awesome morning together this morning. And thank you for coming so much. Then I have to sync my other devices to the Mac to get that song, but then they've deposited some photos on the Mac, so I have to sync the iPhone again with the Mac to get those photos. And keeping these devices in sync is driving us crazy. So, we've got a great solution for this problem. And we think this solution is our next big insight, which is we're going to demote the PC and the Mac to just be a device, just like an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod Touch. And we're going to move the digital hub, the center of your digital life, into the cloud. Because all these new devices have communications built into them. They can all talk to the cloud whenever they want. And so now, if I get something on my iPhone, it